Hi, welcome to our online negative numbers practice test questions. Please write these questions in the section that says online lesson in your practice test. And if you need more paper, just write at the back or add an extra sheet in. But I want to see these questions written down and with working out when necessary. Now, always have a go first. And if you get stuck or want to correct, then you can just watch this lesson. Now, this question says, list all the integers greater than -3 but less than or equal to 1. Now, I've got a number line here ready to go. Now, on a test, if there was no number line and you think it may be useful, you can just quickly draw one up. So it says greater than -3. So greater than is an important term or keyword. And less than or equal to is another one. You have to make sure you understand what they're asking. So greater than -3, if I locate -3 on my number line, there it is. So there's -3. And anything greater than that, greater means we head in the positive direction. Less than, we head in a negative direction. So greater than, we'll be heading in this direction. Okay. Now, this would go on forever. There would be an infinite amount of numbers or integers if it was just that. List all the integers greater than -3. But there's an extra part here. It says, but less than or equal to 1. Let's locate +1. There's 1. And less than means we're heading in this direction. So we end up having numbers in between -3 and 1. So first of all, what numbers are clearly in between -3 and 1? We've got -2, -1, and 0. They are integers. So let's write those down first. So we'll have -2, -1, 0, +1. They are clearly in between -3 and that +1. Now, we just have to make sure we know if we include a -3 or the 1. So it says greater than -3. It doesn't say greater than or equal to. So don't write -3. But here it says less than or equal to 1. So that means we include the 1. Which I already did, sorry. So just always double check. We included the 1 because it said equal to 1. Whereas here, don't write -3 because all it says is it's greater than -3, not equal to. All right, with number 2, we've got calculate each of the following. So we've spent a lot of time really practicing these skills, and the more you practice, the better you get. Now, when doing these questions, if you need a number line, please use one. It's okay if you can't do them mentally yet. You've got number lines, you can draw one up yourself very quickly. All right, so for A, we've got -2 plus 4. If you're going to use a number line, we've got -2 here, plus 4, we head in the positive direction. So -2 plus 4 would be 1, 2, 3, 4. We end up at +2. Now, we don't have to, if you write +2, that's fine, but we know the positive is really invisible. So we end up with the 2. All right, with B, we've got 5 take away 6. Please be careful. If you wrote 1, you've made a mistake. Smaller number, take away a larger, it means we end up below 0. So that should be a -1. And use your number line if you need to. Now, -8, take away a 2. Now, if it's a negative number, take away, subtracting another number, it's going to be in the negative end. So let's just look at our number line. So it was -8. Take away 2. So 1, 2, we end up at -10. So I use a number line to start me off. And there's an awesome trick, and that is if you've got a negative number, subtracting another number, just add them. 8 plus 2 is 10, but don't forget to add the negative because we're heading in the negative direction. So we're adding, but in the negative direction. With D, we've got, now whenever you see two signs together, so we are adding a -10. So this addition and negative become 1. Now, the saying is a positive and a negative make a negative. So we know if they're opposites, they become a takeaway. So I end up with -6, take away 10. That's your first step, okay? And part of your working out. And now that I've got just that one subtraction sign, it's much easier. We usually have one equal sign per line, but I'll just squeeze it here because I don't have room. Now, -6, take away 10. Once again, a negative number, take away another number, I add them. 10 plus 6 is 16, but it's a -16. But use a number line if you need to. Alrighty, with E, and with the rest of these, we can see we're either dividing or multiplying. When dividing or multiplying with negative numbers, the trick is if you have an even amount of negatives, the answer will be positive. If you have an odd amount of negatives, the answer will be negative. And we're going to use that rule, I guess, to answer these questions. So here I'm dividing. So I like to work out, is my answer going to be positive or negative first? So 2 negatives, there's a negative there and a negative there. 2 negatives will come together to make a positive, and it's an even amount. And then I'm left with 4 divided by 2. The positive's invisible. 4 divided by 2 is just 2. All right, with F, I can see I'm dividing. That's my operation, and there's only 1 negative. So 1 is an odd number. My answer will be negative. And then 5 divided by 5 is 1, so negative 1. With G, I can see 2 negatives. So 2 negatives will make a positive. And then I'm left with 2 times 7. 2 times 7, just squeeze in equal sign there. 2 times 7 is 14. So that's a positive 14. Sorry, that's just a mistake. And with H, I can see my operation is multiplication. I've got 1 negative in the whole thing. So 1 negative is an odd number. So my answer will be negative. And then 9 times 1 is just 9. Alrighty. With this one down here, it says, now the number here is supposed to be a 5. So it's a negative 5 there. So I didn't print off. All right, so number 3 says, insert the symbol less than or equal or greater than in between the following pairs of integers to make true mathematical statements. Alrighty, now if greater than or less than is still a bit confusing when working with negative numbers, just use warmer or cooler. Same idea. So if that was just say 3 degrees, is 3 degrees warmer than negative 4? Yes. So warmer means greater than. Okay, and that's our greater than symbol. Okay, remember we read from left to right and we hit that larger gap, the greater than gap. With B, I've got negative 2, is negative 2 degrees warmer than negative 1 or cooler? It's actually colder or cooler, so I'd say less than. And the less than symbol, it's almost forming an L. So L is less than if you ever get stuck. With C, I've got 2 negative numbers I'm comparing. Now, which one's warmer? Let's see, is negative 5 warmer or greater than negative 8? Yes. So it'll be greater than, not less than. Okay, so if that helps, think of temperature when comparing negative numbers. Alrighty, with number 4, now this is filling in the gaps. Now these can be tricky, but if you just use the skills that you've learnt already, and number lines can be useful as well. So I've got a number line here ready to go. You should be able to, work it out slowly. So with the first one, 4 plus something equals 6. Now that's all positive numbers because 4 plus 2 gives me a positive 6. So that's something I've done before. Now with B, it's 2 plus something to give me a negative 1. Okay, so this is where a number line may be useful. So if I'm at 2 and I want to head to negative 1, I want to end up here, there's negative 1, I have to subtract. To head in this direction, we have to subtract. So I have to put a negative here because a positive and a negative will give me a negative or a subtraction. And how many do I have to take away? Well, if I'm at 2 and I want to get to negative 1, let's count. 1, 2, 3. That's 3 spaces. So it'll be a 3, a negative 3. And let's check. 2, this becomes a takeaway. So 2 take away 3 leaves me with a negative 1. So it's worked. Now let's check C. Now with C, there's already 2. The first numbers, our starting point is not given to us. We have to work out our starting point. So we're sort of working backwards. So just think about it as a way of working backwards. Now, I've got a negative 3 in brackets, but I can see 2 negatives make a positive. I'm going to do that first. So something plus 3 to give me negative 5. So this just helps to make it a bit more clearer for me. So those 2 negatives became a positive in this one because I'm trying to work out my starting number. Now, what's something plus 3 to give me negative 5? If I still can't visualize it, let's go to my number line. I want to end up here. That's where I want to finish at. And if I plus, I head in this direction. okay, towards the positive end. So that means I had to start somewhere at the further down. So if I'm adding 3, let's go back 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. That means I started at -8. Because -8, so -8 plus 3 gives me -5. So in this box, I just put -8. So for this one, it was trickier, but I first worked out, well, it ends up becoming addition. And then I use my number line to guide me because I'm working backwards. All right, with D, now let's check out operations. We're multiplying, and we want to get a -20. So when multiplying, we need to end up with a negative, okay? So that means I have to have an odd amount of negatives. Right now, I've got 1 negative and 2 negatives. So 2 negatives currently make a positive. I must add a third negative. That's my first step. So 1, 2, 3 negatives will make a negative. And now, what's 2 times something times 1 to give me 20? Well, the 1 won't make a difference, but I know 2 times 10 gives me 20. So it must be -10. And that's it. All right, with these ones down here, we will be using our order of operation skills to calculate the following. So, whenever we see 2 signs sitting together, they must become 1 first. We are adding a negative, they become a takeaway. We are subtracting a negative, they become a plus. So I'm going to rewrite it and show working out. You must show working out. -10, take away 2 plus 6. We also know those brackets don't have to be there. They're just showing a -2 and a -6. And now we work from left to right because we are subtracting and adding. They are equal operations, left to right. So that means -10, take away 2 first. That gives me -12 plus 6. Use a number line if you need to. -12 plus 6, I head in the positive direction. That leaves me -6. All right, with B is just over here. I've got brackets, and inside these brackets, I've got calculations to do. So in these brackets, I must work out what's inside. So I've got -2 take away 3. That leaves me with a -5 times, and then 4 take away 3 is just 1. Now, now my operation is multiplication. So 1 negative means my answer is negative, and 5 times 1 is 5. So I end up with -5. With C, now it looks like a fraction. We've got a fraction, it's in fraction form, but we know the fraction line just means division. So we're going to use our division skills to help us. We also learned that if you've got a calculation on the bottom or top, so numerator or denominator, there are invisible brackets. You must calculate any calculations first and then keep going. So I've got 100 divided by or over. Now -5 times 100 will leave me with -500. All right. Now, this is division. So at this point, you can write it as 100 divided by -500. Okay, same thing. That's what this is saying. These are the exact same thing. And let's use our division skills. We also learned, now, I actually should have put the bigger number on top, but that's okay. We also learned, in this situation, let's cancel our zeros. So cancel. Alrighty. And if I cancel this, we actually end up with 1 divided by -5. So for this question, just leave it as a fraction, and it's going to be a negative. So that would be your final answer. I made a mistake. Like with the question, I should have had the 500 on top, so we end up with a whole number. So with this one, that can be your final answer. If you had a decimal, that's fine as well. But you should know how to cancel those zeros. We're not going to divide it because we haven't learned how to divide to get a decimal just yet. We'll learn that later on in the year. All right, we'll leave that one there. So with D, check everything is being multiplied. There's a times, and times. Nothing's being added or subtracted. So in that case, I'm going to count all my negatives. 1, 2, 3. Oh, and there's one there, sorry, 4. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 negatives. 4 is an even number. So my answer will be positive. I'm just putting positive to emphasize I've taken care of that. And now all I have to do is multiply all my numbers. Now, 1 times 1 is just 1. Now, if you want to rewrite it because it looks messy, you can. We don't need those brackets. So I've got 1 times 1 times 2 times 1 times 2. And let's multiply that out. So 1 times 1 is 1, times 2 is 2, times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4. I'm just left with a 4, which is positive. Alrighty, with E, remember to have a go first. Now, I check my operations, subtraction. multiplication, subtraction, and division. Okay, that's a -6, but the operation is division. So we know with order of operations, multiplication and division must come before subtraction in this case. Now, I'm going to rewrite it. So 12, take away is still there. Now, what's 1 times 7? 1 times 7 is just 7. So 7 and then take away. And in this bracket, I've got 12 divided by a -6. Now, there's one negative, so my answer will be negative. And 12 divided by 6 is 2. So you can see what's happened. We've ended up with two negatives, or the same sign sitting together. Now, if you had brackets here, still, that's fine as well. That's still okay. Now, we can see two signs sitting together become one. In this case, they become a positive. So I'm now left with 12 take away 7 plus 2. And now work from left to right. 12 take away 7 will be my next step. So 12 take away 7 is 5. And then plus 2, I end up with a positive 7. Okay? So don't rush that one because that one was a little bit tricky. Now with F, I've got brackets, and in there there's 5 plus 2. That will be my first step because brackets comes first. 5 plus 2 is 7. If you like to cross it off and write 7, you can. So I'm going to stop there and rewrite what I see. So 15 take away 7. So if you need to work on improve with your working out when it comes to this, this is good practice. So 15 take away 7, take away 10, divided by -1. All right, that's all I've done is just taking care of my brackets. Now at this point, I check my operations. Subtraction, subtraction, division. Division must come first. So the bracket can go around the 10 divided by -1. The takeaway is just sitting out there. So I still have 15. Take away 7, take away. Now, what is 10 divided by a -1? 10 divided by -1, there's only one negative, so my answer will be negative, and 10 divided by 1 is just 10. So I end up with that. If you had brackets still here, that's fine. And just like before, two negatives, we say make a positive. Stop there and rewrite it. 15 take away 7 plus 10. Nice and clear. And now left to right, so 15 take away 7. Where are we? It would be 8. And then 8 plus 10. Don't forget to write the plus 10. And 8 plus 10 gives me 18. Alrighty. So just also make sure your working out is nice and clear. 1 equal sign per line. And you rewrite what's left. So here we did one step at a time. Alrighty. And next few questions. This is our last lot of questions. All right. We have... plot the table of values on the graph provided. Now, this one I think is exactly the same on your practice test. So I'm happy for you to, it's actually good practice to draw a graph. So practice drawing a graph and we'll plot these points. All right, we haven't learned this just yet. So what actually happens in a table of, this is called a table of values, and all the X values are on top and the Y values are on the bottom. So what this is saying is this is a point. This is X is -2, Y is -3. They're just telling us a point. This point will be X is -1, Y is -1. This one here, X is 0, Y is 1. This one here, X is 1, Y is 3. And the last one, X is 2 and Y is 5. So they are just coordinates, but put it into a table. So at this point, if you prefer rewriting it as a coordinate to see it a bit more clearly, we'll do that. So it says plot the table of values on the graph provided. So in other words, plot all these points on the graph. So let's go ahead and do that. So my first one, X is -2, Y is -3. X, so we go to our horizontal line, the X line, X axis. So X is there. So X is, what was it? -2, and Y is -3. So go down to -3, and there's my first point. There it is. And you can see how they match up. The grid line helps us. All right, next one, X is -1, Y is -1. So X is -1, Y is -1. So there it is. They just match up right there. Over there. Next one, X is 0. As soon as I see a 0, I'm going to be on one of the axes. So X is 0, Y is 1. So if X is 0, I'm still stuck right in the middle at the origin. But Y is +1, I go up to 1. So it's right on that line. Make sure it's right on that line. Next one, X is 1, Y is 3. So X is +1, but y is positive 3. Got the positive 3, and there's my point. And they match up. Y is 3, x is 1, yep. And the last one, x is 2, y is 5. So x is 2, go up to positive 5 for y. And there we go. All right, and we can see all these points are forming what I can see is a straight line. So what type of graph have you drawn? If you line, now I can't use a ruler because I'm holding my phone, but if you use a ruler and line these all up, we get a straight line. So you can just write a straight line graph. Straight line graph. Another way of saying it, we say is linear. So or linear, a linear graph. But either one is fine. And we'll do more of this next week. And our last question, we've got an application. It's similar to the one in your practice test, but it is different. So if you're stuck on that one, do this one first. So a submarine 40 meters below sea level detects a plane flying directly above it. So it's right above. That's really important. The equipment on board the submarine estimates the plane, or it could be aircraft, but the plane is 100 meters away. All right, so make sure you actually understand what this is saying. The best way to understand it is to draw a diagram. That's why A says, draw a diagram that shows a submarine plane and sea level. Include all relevant measurements. Now, we've got a submarine. If you just want to write the word submarine, you can. It's a submarine. If you want to draw it, you can. I'm just writing it because I can't really draw. And then there's a plane directly above it. So I could do a dotted line or a line, but there's a plane right above it. There's my plane. And it also says one is below sea level, one is above. So we must have a line for sea level. I've put a little bit of waves, but if your line was straight, that's fine. There's sea level. And we know sea level is extremely important. Sea level is at 0. And our question is using meters, so I'm going to write 0 meters. Now, the submarine is 40 meters below, so I can even write it as a negative 40 if you wanted to. So minus 40, it's below 0, so minus 40 meters. The plane is directly above it. Now, this is where you have to be careful. It says the plane is 100 meters away. So it's from here to here, so from the plane to the submarine, that is 100 meters. Okay, make sure you understand that. The plane is not 100 meters above sea level. It's 100 meters from the submarine to where the plane is. So I've got that line, and I wrote 100 meters on this side. Alrighty, so that's my diagram. Yours may have looked a little bit different, but it's there to help us understand what's actually happening. We don't know how high the plane is just yet. So the next question says, what is the height of the plane above sea level? So sea level is at 0. So how high is the plane? So from here, to sea level. So if I know from the submarine, which is at minus 40, to the plane is 100, that means I can just say, all right, I can go 100 meters, take away 40 meters, leaves me with 60 meters. So the plane is 60 meters above sea level, because 60 plus from here to here is 40. So the submarine is 40 meters down. 60 plus 40 gives me my 100. They're 100 meters apart. Alrighty. And then with C, what is the range between the submarine and the plane? So range is the difference, or how far apart they are. Okay. And the question actually tells us. It tells us that the submarine, So the submarine estimates the plane is 100 meters away. So it's just 100 meters, because the question actually tells us that. And we can see 60 plus 40 is also 100 meters. Alrighty, so hopefully that was helpful, and please keep practicing and studying for your test. Thank you.